Welcome to part two, lads. Just knocking back the primer here, the Styler Rose primer. Something that just does give better results, especially if you're using, well, just in my opinion, if you're using lacquers such as the MLP here. Just a quick chat about the airbrush I'm using for the top coats. This is the Badger Renegade, I can't say it, Renegade, can't say it, Chrome, 0.2 needle, 0.21 needle I believe, don't quote me on that. This is a very nice airbrush indeed. It's a little bit agricultural to handle, if you get my meaning. It's a bit like holding a tractor, whereas the airbrush I used for my primer is the Harder & Steenbeck Evolution, which is a lot more smoother to feel, to smoother in the hand. But that one, again, it's a little bit fussier to use. You've got to keep it really clean, whereas the Badger kind of just keeps on going, really. I'm just removing the demarcation masking tape here. You can see I've got that white is the Tamiya bendy tape. I did try and use it for bending around the trailing and leading edges of the wings there to get that demarcation, but in the end I used a circle cutter just to cut some little circles. Gives a much better effect than that using that bendy tape, which is a bit useless in my opinion. Here we go. This is the MRP again. This is Insignia Red over black Styler Res primer. It gives a lovely colour, as you'll see just here. Look at that. That's lovely in red. Beautiful. There's many ways to paint your props, and this is just one way. This is just the way I decided to do it on this build. Interestingly, well, it is for me anyway, I used for the black, I used as you can see, night black. This is another MRP colour, very similar to NATO black in fairness. It does give a nice colour. That's a lovely black. You'll see the finished product shortly. Undercarriage now. This is black Styler Res with the extreme metals from AK matte aluminium, as you can see. There's like a top coat on there. It's good stuff, this extreme metal stuff. The actual undercarriage themselves went together okay. I thought it might be a little bit more of a pain, but silly me, it is Tamiya after all, and although I do look as if I'm making a bit of a meal of it, it does all click in very nicely. I do glue it up here, and obviously it ruins some of the paintwork, which is obviously touched up at a later date using some silver paint. As you can see, you know, there's obviously no danger of this stuff not fitting correctly. Now the decals, this was an extra decal set. Although on the face of it looked really nice, it was, the decals were, I should say, quite brittle. You'll see coming up in a minute. They went down okay once you actually got them onto the model and fiddled about with them with some chemicals, some of the setting solutions. They actually went down okay, not too bad. But just coming up here, look, there you go. They were all like this. They had to be manhandled quite carefully, quite brittle indeed. I was kind of disappointed. I think they might have been an old set that had been knocking around for a little while. I can't think of any other reason why they'd be as brittle. The actual kit decals themselves, the Tamiya decals, were very similar. They were quite brittle too, so I can just put it down to just being quite elderly. The extra decal sets normally okay. I've never had them be brittle before. I did have to use the hammer. That's a little shot of solver set. A couple of, especially this roundel here on that raised detail, had to be hammered down with the with that solution. Now this is something that nearly bite me in the bum. Just finishing the decal in, putting on the final fuselage codes, and noticed that they needed a colour behind the codes here. So I had to quickly make up a little template. As you can see what I'm doing here, it's quite obvious what I'm doing here. And then spraying up with some MRP again, which goes down beautifully smooth, of course. It sounds like an infomercial for MRP. It certainly isn't. Don't get me wrong. The other good thing with this MRP, well, lacquers in general, especially this thin, they do dry remarkably quickly. So this is almost real time. It's not quite real time. It was literally 5 minutes from taking the masking off to applying the decal either side of the fuselage, which is just coming up now. And luckily they went on without breaking. So we sealed all this in with a coat of the semi-matte there, just to balance everything out a little bit. Installing the undercarriage again, thought might be a bit tricky, but silly me, so easy with Tamiya stuff. And I normally struggle with undercarriage, but this kind of just plopped in really. Using the Tamiya slow drying, almost like a poly cement, the one in the white cap this is. A bit on the weathering now. This is just a, as you can see, just an oil mix, gently rubbed into a panel line there. and then just rub down. This is all neat oil. Rub down with another brush. We'll get on the cotton buds out in a minute, and then we start blending that in a bit more. It actually looks on screen a lot heavier than what it does in real life. It's not as pronounced as this. It's a bit more subtle. So just rubbing all that in and blending that in. The same procedure is followed underneath. You can see I've used some pastels to muck up some of the panels here. Same procedure like I've said. It's a bit more mucky underneath because obviously, you know, I think it was going to be more mucky underneath. You can see it again using a cotton bud again just to blend it all in. I will let you into a little secret, guys. I do find weathering a little bit taxing. I'd much rather be painting or even building for that. So using a bit of micro crystal clear just for the nav lights. We're coming to the end now here, chaps. If you've stuck around this long, thank you very much. If you like what you see, think about giving me a little like and maybe a little sub. That would be brilliant. And then the other thing I might ask you to do is share the video. That would be great stuff. So I'll just leave you with these final images of removing some masking and mucking about, and then I'll see you on the next one.